Okay, we are live, I guess. Okay, we're gonna watch this video on Marx and Sonam Wangchuk and Acharya Prashant and Marx. Let's see. I don't know a lot about Marx, but I at least know something. I am currently reading Capital Volume 1, the new translation. So let's see what this video entails.
India was supposed to be communist. By every measure of Marxists, India had the perfect ingredients for the cocktail of communism: colonial extraction, crushing poverty, the most rigid hereditary hierarchy on earth. India was ripe for revolution. Karl Marx himself highlighted India's potential. Vladimir Lenin urged Indians to act. Karl Marx himself highlighted
The Indian will not reap the fruits of the new elements of society, scattered among them by the British bourgeois. Till in Great Britain itself, the new ruling classes shall have been supplanted by the industrial proletariat, or till the Hindus themselves shall have grown strong enough to throw off the English yoke altogether. Okay, none of that happened, huh? Maybe the second part happened. The Hindus did go became strong, and the Britishers did become weak after the World War II.
India's potential. Vladimir Lenin urged Indians to act on that potential. And when the Communist Party of India was founded in 1920, Moscow was certain a revolution was nigh. Yet today, India is governed by Hindu nationalists. The Communist parties hold a combined total of 4 out of 553 seats in parliament. Communism has resoundingly failed, or so it seems. In this video, we're going to explore a paradox. While the Communist Party of India has lost, many of its ideas have flourished, some even in the most unlikely of places. This is the story of communism in India. Somewhere in early 20th century Bengal, a group of young men were being initiated into a secret society. They're about to swear an oath to revolution. But the book they swear on is not Das Kapital, it is the Bhagavad Gita. And it's this contradiction that communism would never truly resolve. But to understand that, we have to rewind a bit. The greatest irony of India's independence movement is that it was created by the British. That's because the British ruled India not by importing a bunch of Englishmen into India, but by creating homegrown brown Englishmen. And no, this is not some transracial thing. The concept of a brown Englishman was created by an official named Thomas Macaulay. Macaulay claimed that Britain needed a class of persons Indian in blood and color, but English in tastes, opinions, morals, and intellect. These brown Englishmen would be the local administrators for the British. They would help foreigners rule and oppress their own people. So how does communism figure into this? Well, the twist here is that Indians actually learned about communism from the British. Indians who were being educated in English now learned about European philosophy and ideas. People like Locke, Mazzini, and of course, Marx. Many Indians who were training to be foot soldiers of the empire had an epiphany midway through their education. They realized that liberty, freedom, and nationalism weren't just European values, they were universal. So they quit and decided to organize a revolution. For these early Indian revolutionaries, colonialism meant capitalism, and Marxism was decolonization. However, Marxism was just one of many ideologies these ex-brown Englishmen found inspiration from. Italian nationalists, Irish revolutionaries, French liberals all influenced these young freedom fighters. But the foundation of their revolutionary ethos was unmistakably Indian. Indian revolutionaries organized themselves into groups. The most famous was the Anushilan Samiti, based in Bengal, the base of the British Indian Empire. And to join the revolution of the Anushilan Samiti, you had to swear on the Bhagavad Gita, as we saw earlier. The Samiti had regular Gita readings. It inculcated the ideal of a Kshatriya or religious warrior ethos. It drew inspiration from saints like Vivekananda, who saw the message of the Gita as that of action and revolution. Even non-Hindu participants would be influenced by these tales, as they are fundamentally Indian tales of heroism. The Indian independence and especially revolutionary movement was inseparable from this book. And thus Indian Marxists not only had to, but wanted to understand Marxism and revolution through a religious vocabulary. So religious fervor was frequently fused with Marxist ideas around labor and economics in India. For example, India's first major labor strikes were not for better wages, but for the release of someone named Lokmanya Tilak, a revolutionary who again used the Bhagavad Gita as an axis of revolt. Laborers had been inspired by Tilak's commentary of the Gita to take up arms against the British. India's first trade union was founded by a deeply religious man, Lala Lajpat Rai. When Indians were boycotting British goods, they weren't just driven by economic arguments, but rather a civilizational and religious rhetoric. Aurobindo Ghosh, another product of the Anushilan Samiti, writes that the process of boycott was akin to a yajna, a fire ritual of purification and sacrifice. So in the early 20th century, Indian communism was a decentralized force, and because of that, you see a lot of ideological blending and promiscuity. Now, a lot of people point to the famous Marxist and martyr Bhagat Singh as a face of Indian Marxism. Singh even wrote a famous pamphlet, Why I Am an Atheist, which people point to as proof of Marxism's penetration in India. But the thing is, Singh's fellow comrades in organizations like the Hindustan Socialist Republican Association were chock full of religious people. Singh was exceptional exactly because he was an atheist. His fellow socialists who went to the gallows with him were all religious. So essentially, since its beginning, Indian communism has had this uneasy relationship with religion. But that is only the first piece of an entirely mismatched outfit for revolution. For the second, we have to examine a man who became a god. A fundamental aspect of Marxism is being able to organize the masses, forging the common people into a great hammer that shatters elite power, a swelling surge of popular revolution. In independence-era India, only one man could do this. Mahatma Gandhi understood the average Indian better than anyone of his time. Where earlier revolutionaries fused religion with armed resistance, Gandhi weaponized something more powerful, non-violent resistance. Same spiritual sheath, different weapon. And with this, Gandhi captured the hearts and minds of India's masses. Now, while this was happening, communism in India was formalizing. At the 1920 Comintern Congress, a global communist conference, the Communist Party of India was founded. This foreign birth would haunt them for the rest of their history. For Indian communist leadership just could not grasp the pulse of Indian society, especially during independence. The biggest reason for this was that Indian communists were basically remote controlled. Whether from Moscow or from communist cells in Britain, the CPI would always wait for their input on policy, and by that time it would be too late. The CPI disregarded local sentiments and realities to impress people abroad. This is a very familiar phenomenon to the present day for those who follow Indian leftist movements. I call this the SAR syndrome, where Indians, particularly leftists, always look to foreigners for approval. This meant that
Okay, I don't know about this. I am not gonna make any commentary, but I don't think, current Indian leftists wait for the input of West or something like that. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that, man.
the CPI would always be in disarray. One of the biggest fissures in the CPI was when its Muslim members decided to support an Islamist uprising in India called the Khilafat movement. This movement was not for Indian independence. Rather, it was to support the Ottoman Sultanate thousands of miles away who were fighting the British. Naturally, many non-Muslim CPI members felt some type of way, especially after the Khilafat movement failed and the Muslim masses flocked to Islamist parties instead of the communists. While Gandhi went from strength to strength as the independence movement went on, the CPI's constant flip-flopping on supporting or opposing Congress and their mixed message on Indian realities like religion and agriculture meant the party missed out on garnering support. The latter part is important here, because the CPI looked to foreign communism for models of revolution. They ended up focusing on India's tiny urban proletariat that worked in factories rather than the millions of peasants that Gandhi was winning over. Yet this dysfunction would pale in comparison to what
Yeah, but Marxism, at least, Marx talks about it that first you have to go to the stage of capitalism and then communism. If there is not even that, then how is supposed to happen, man? So yeah,
happened next. And this wouldn't be a simple political miscalculation. It was a betrayal that mortally wounded the mission of communism in India. In 1941, Germany invaded the Soviet Union, an event that would reverberate across the world. All of a sudden, communists in every country decided to support across the world. Germany invaded the Soviet Union. In 1941, Germany invaded the Soviet Union, an event that would reverberate across the world. All of a sudden, communists in every country decided to support not just the USSR, but also the Allied powers in World War II. And of course, this also included Britain. At the same time, Gandhi, the heart of India's independence movement, decided to press forward in his mission. He declared the Quit India movement, a do-or-die moment where he urged Indians to push for independence in every non-violent way possible. Indian masses responded with utmost fervor. Protests erupted across the land. Students walked out of classes. Railway workers went on strike. Every part of India exploded for freedom. Well, almost every part. One of the biggest opponents of this movement was the Communist Party of India. You see, Moscow had issued a diktat that communists across the globe must support the Allied powers, even if that meant overriding decolonial ambitions. So CPI members ended up supporting the British, very enthusiastically in fact. They published propaganda against various freedom fighters. But beyond pamphlets of propaganda and official opposition towards Indian freedom, perhaps the worst thing the CPI did was during the calamitous Bengal famine of 1943. Churchill directed precious grain resources from Bengal to be directed towards the British war effort. And in many cases, it was way more than soldiers needed. So where do communists come in here? Well, communists were an integral part in procuring, or maybe I should say looting, Indian farmers for grain, further worsening the Bengal famine. This is SAR syndrome on another level at this point. It's literally taking precious food from your own countrymen to support your colonizer. And this wasn't taken too kindly by mainstream independence activists either, who would later issue a charge sheet.
okay, I don't know about this, man. Like, I genuinely don't know. But if the, CPI had taken ration and stolen from the farmers, why the fuck they come in power in Bengal after the Britishers left India? Like, did people forget the famine or what? Okay, this seems sly, man. This guy seems like he's lying.
detailing communist treason once India gained freedom. At this point, you'd think the communists were done for. Open betrayal, blatantly anti-national behavior,
Use of death. Okay, how is this
you'd
anti-national?
think the communists were done for. Open betrayal,
Okay, uh, I cannot even read the paper because there is nothing to read.
blatantly anti.
Okay, wait.
At this point, you'd think the communists were done for. Open betrayal, blatant.
Joshi wrote in People's War dated July 18, 1943. The Axis Radio reports that Bose is no more in Berlin but has reached Singapore. Or July 6, Bose himself announced that he has been appointed the Commander-in-Chief of Indian Independence Army and is coming with Japanese Invasion Force. The arch traitor to India's freedom and independence calls upon Indian patriots to open second front against British to intensify struggle and start a revolution in India. While he, the commander-in-chief with Tojo's grace, marches in with Japan's invading forces to liberate India. But his lieutenants here in India know that there is no struggle to be intensified, and so they are making a trial start for this game on August 9. Their program for August 9 must be looked upon as a dress rehearsal for the revolution, which has to be started when Commander-in-Chief Bose comes to liberate India with Japanese army. It will be suicidal blindness to celebrate August 9th as we do any protest anniversary. Example, Jallianwala Bagh Day. Addressing the patriot, Joshi appealed, August 9 is coming again. Memory inevitably goes back to August 9 last year. Shame over Helms one when remember that from that day the fifth column spoke and acted in name of the Congress. To celebrate August 9 is to hand over the initiative to the fifth column. Subhash Bose is already in Singapore. The Japs have made him commander-in-chief of their Indian Independence Army. Marshal Bose is looking to India to, to see what happens on August 9. It is for him a test of the mobilizing capacities of his own gang and its links with patriotic masses. If any widespread demonstration takes place or any serious disturbances start, Marshal Bose will report to Tojo, his master, that India is rotten ripe for invasion. There is no time to lose. Last August, Bose was in Berlin. This time he is much earlier, nearer. At Singapore, the traitor Bose will never touch the golden soil of Bengal if he our mind about August 9. Yeah, it is well known the CPI was against Bose because CPI directly had connection with the Soviet Union. So it is obvious, man. Okay. Yeah, I don't think it is anti-India, but it's not pro-India stance either. Okay.
Blatantly anti-national behavior in a time of crisis, a complete rupture with other freedom fighters. Yet the communists actually bounced back. In 1952, India's first election saw them as the second biggest party, albeit fairly small at 16 seats out of 499. The Congress Party, the main vehicle for India's freedom, swept elections. So why did communism persist? It's two main reasons. Firstly, it had local successes. The communists actually succeeded in executing an armed revolution in the South Indian princely state of Hyderabad. The success came because Hyderabad was ruled by a tiny Urdu-speaking Muslim elite who practiced extreme feudalism. The Telugu Hindu masses were crushed by this dynamic. Besides this inequality, the Nizam of Hyderabad tried to join Pakistan, so the newly formed government of India inadvertently aided the communists in deposing the Nizam.
No, the Indian government did not aid the communists. They crushed the communists and the Nizams. They crushed the both. But the communists had the popular people's support. Because when it mattered, the communists come for them, and the farmers were communists themselves.
Still, many communists were wary about the government of India. While participating in the 1952 elections, Many supported a continued armed resistance underground, drawing inspiration from the recently successful Mao Zedong. This eventually evolved into the brutal Naxalite movement. Elsewhere, communists also succeeded in places like Bengal and Kerala. We'll dive into those three soon as they're absolutely fascinating. The second big reason for communism's persistence was that India's first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, was
A study of Marx and Lenin produced a powerful effect on my mind and helped me to see history and current affairs in a new light. The long chain of history and of social development appeared to have some meaning, some sequence, and the future lost some of its obscurity. Okay.
committed socialist and genuinely admired Marxism. He saw the Soviet Union as a role model and would concretize socialist policy into the foundations of the Indian state. 5-year plans, state-owned industries, central planning.
Yeah, the 5-year plan didn't come from communist, okay? It came from literally capitalists of that kind of capitalists of that time, the Bombay plan. It came from, I think, the Tata Birla family of today and that time too. Okay, it was not communist. Okay, communist doesn't mean 5-year plan. It has nothing to do with that. And in fact, Soviet Union also has nothing to do with communism in any way or form. They just took the fucking name and pretty much ruled the area for quite a while until the facade become facade and the
Nehru was building a socialist economy without the Communist Party. Again, this all seems like we're setting up for an explosion of communism. But the CPI would soon commit a second betrayal, and this would be much more brazen. In 1962, Communist China and India would go to war over land in the Himalayas. Nehru believed that the two Asiatic powers would be natural friends, so he left the Himalayan border barely defended. While China did not accept the current border, claiming it was a colonial invention by the British. So an unprepared Indian army would be defeated by Chinese forces as China took control of a small portion of Indian land. And a large chunk of the CPI actually supported this. This caused not only a split in the CPI, but a huge tarnishing of the party. Indians were disgusted with this open betrayal, while a reeling Congress party looked for someone to blame, in this case probably accurately. This loss was a traumatic event for a young Indian nation, but ironically even worse for Indian communism. This second bout of treason begins a long dotted line across Indian history, where Indian communists, or even the Indian left at large, continuously goes against.
okay, what the fuck is this? Rahul Gandhi opposes Nicobar project because he dislikes India's strategic right. Bharatiya Janata Party. This is your fucking source, man. A opposition party. Like that fucking killing a jungle man in Nicobar. Sorry, the BJP and the current government is pretty much wiping out a jungle. Is it necessary? Like, will we become China's slave if that doesn't happen? No, it is not that, okay? Stop making bullshit.
Against core Indian interests and progress.
BJP again attacks Rahul Gandhi, alleging Soros link, claims he met enemies of India in Germany. Like these are your fucking sources. Fucking state sponsor media channels. Conspiracy theories like this. BJP attacks Rahul Gandhi, alleging Soros link. What is proof of this? No proof, no proof. Just a fucking headline.
Simply for the approval of outside ideologies. Like, it's understandable to want your ideology to win in your country, but it's another thing to actively want harm to your countrymen in order to secure that ideological win. And while communists still held out in a few places in India after this, 1962 really finished the potential for a pan-India communist movement.
No, it did not actually. The communists did win more seats in 2004, as far as I know. So yeah,
the last embers of which we will explore in our next chapter. So communists held out in three main places. The first was the South Indian state of Kerala. Here is the most stable and I'd say the most successful.
Okay, for this guy, the communist means people who are claiming themselves to be communist. Okay, I mean, okay. I don't agree with it, okay? I don't think just people because they are claiming communist, oh, we are communist, that doesn't mean them communist. Just because you call yourself national socialist doesn't mean you are a national or, sorry, you are a socialist. Okay, this names are given to attract the masses and the popularity of ideas, you know, coming with that name. Kerala is a capitalist state, and so is Hyderabad, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, entirety of India, entirety of China, and the Soviet Union was always capitalist. They didn't abolish capitalist, mechanisms. The MCM was still there. The surplus was still, produced by the workers, and they were not getting the surplus. Yeah.
Communist government in India by far. The CPI was democratically elected in Kerala in 1957, coming to power not through the barrel of a gun, but the ballot box. The reason for that is because the environment that Kerala was in. In the 19th, going into the 20th century, Kerala had some of the most extreme forms of caste discrimination India had ever seen. The lowest caste were not even allowed to share a street with a high caste person. This milieu eventually caused a religious reformation. Social reformers like Sri Narayan Guru fought for the rights of lower castes, used a specifically Hindu spiritual grammar to argue for it, emphasizing not only the oneness of Hindus but also humanity. Even Christian groups, now a powerful force in Kerala.
Yeah. There were other movements also, which were not this oneness of Hindus. Fuck up. We are gonna, just walk on the street, do whatever the fuck you wanna do, and we are gonna take care of you if you do anything to us in very kind way, which I think is more of a reason than any oneness of Hindu stupidity. Never works. Okay, it never works. This oneness, we are one. This is a never works. Okay, doesn't work. I think that movement had a leader. I guess. Wait. I forgot his name. Ayan Kali, yeah, Ayan Kali. I think that guy played a major role. And he came from lower caste. He was not upper caste like Sri Narayan Guru. Yeah. He was Ayan Kali was like proper lower caste. And he was not, we are one or two or three. Yeah, fuck, we are gonna walk on the roads and you motherfuckers can't stop us. Which was I prepare any day of the week.
Kerala pushed for these changes as well. Following the Reformation,
This guy. Economics lawmaker, fuck. He was he was pretty well educated, man. Like I thought he was not that much of a educated person, but he is educated, man. The mad house of caste, the Puliars were regarded as the slaves of the agrarian society in the kingdom, and they suffered greatly from oppressive discrimination, particularly from the land-owning caste, including Nair caste. Suffering from this social injustice caused Ayankali to join his Puliar friends who gather at the end of their workday to sing, dance to folk music that protested the situation. Shame Some joined him in forming group that challenged the members of oppressor caste, sometimes including physical fights. His popularity earned him the names of Ura Urpillai and Muttupullai, translated lowly as leader of the land, elder leader. Ayan Kali married Chillamma in 1888. Oh, 1888, I guess. The couple had 7 children. Okay, lots of children. Huh? In 1893, Ayan Kali dressed in clothing traditionally associated with upper caste people and defined the social convention that applied to oppressed people by riding on a road in a bullock cart he had bought. But the act of purchase and that traveling on a road that was traditionally the domain of upper caste were daring acts. In similar act of defiance, he entered the marketplace at Nedu Nedumangand. Okay, fuck up. Okay, I am unable to pronounce it correctly. Sorry, man. Okay, I can't pronounce. These protests, which have been described by Nisar and Khan Kandasamy as laying claim to this public space, strengthened the resolve of others from oppressed communities of Travancore to shake off the shackles of social oppression, leading to further acts of protest elsewhere, such as Kazakh Kuttam. Kazakh Kuttam. Oh, well, it looks fucking dystopian. Area in the city of Tiruvananthapuram, India, the largest IT park in the country. In terms of developed area, Techno Park, along with technology and upcoming integrated IT township, is situated at 6 km of north of Kazakuttam, hence it is known as this. Okay. Outcome of continued protest marches, which sometimes turn violent, became known as Chaliyar riots. By 1900, the Puliars had gained the right to use most roads in the state, although they were still barred from roads that led to Hindu temples. Yeah, this is how you fucking deal with things, man. I like it. Later in 1904 or 04, I guess, I think it's same. Ayankali was inspired by the speech of reformist Ayavu Swamikal. He had been preaching the need to break caste division because he thought that doing so would limit the number of people who were converting from Hinduism to Christianity. A branch of Swamikal's Brahmanista Manta, an organization. Okay. So you want to break caste because the lower caste are, joining Christianity. Okay, man, I and Kali, I don't support you here. But I can see it in a way. I don't support you here. Sorry, Ayan Kali, I don't like you here. A branch of Swami calls Brahmanishtamantam, an organization was established in that year by Ayan Kali and some friends in Venganur. Ayan Kali also drew inspiration from activities of Narayan Guru, a contemporary social reformer from Ezwa caste. Although the two men differ in their philosophies and the means of turning it into reality, the Ezwa and Puliar communities did occasionally ally with each other, one of which was the campaign to gain access to Hindu temple in Viacom. Oh man. Okay, I also support this, temple joining, whatever, I don't care. Bring down caste anywhere, like join Christianity or bring Swamis who say caste bad and end it. I don't care. Ayankali also sought to improve access to education for the oppressed classes. A few Puliyars had gained access to schools set up by Colonial Missionary School Society and the London Missionary Society from around the 19th century. Conversion to Christianity was a prerequisite for attendance at such schools. There were cases where Puliyars offered to contribute to the cost of supplying teachers for them. However, Ayan Kali, who was illiterate, believed that education should be available to all children, and this meant that government schools should allow access to untouchable. Yeah, education should be allowed to all people. Yeah. It is not even today, okay? The government was already attempting to modernize its approach to social welfare. Several public schools were opened for untouchable communities after 1895, but the right to primary education was limited in scope. State funding of education became effective in 1904, but even after the government ordered schools to admit children untouchable caste in 1907, organizing the Brahma Nista Matam, Mattam, Mattam, I guess, Mattam. Ayan Kali founded the Sadhu Janha Paripalna Sangam, okay, Association for the Protection of the Poor, which campaigned for access to schools and raised funds to set up Puliar operated school in the interim. This attracted support from both Hindus and Christians. An attempt by Ayan Khali to enroll a Puliar girl in a government school led to violent acts perpetrated. I cannot pronounce that word or something. Perpetrated. Perpetrated. Okay, I will work on later on that word and I will try to pronounce it. By upper caste against the community and eventually to the burning down of the school building in village of Oruthambalam. Okay, sorry man. Okay, anyone is from Kerala and I am, mispronouncing the names. I am sorry, man. His response was an organized strike of agricultural labor, a first strike action by oppressed agricultural laborers of the region. They withdrew from paddy fields owned by the upper caste until the government acceded to their demand for removing restriction based on caste to education. Ayan Kali was also central to the success of Pulia challenge against the traditional pictures or structures. I mean, it is, I think, a spelling mistake. Can you read this? Yeah. Now I think you can read that. However, the upper caste Hindus had instituted the custom was necessary to distinguish that. Okay, okay, wait. Ayan Kali was also central to the success of Pulia challenge against the traditional structures or strictures. That I mean, I guess this really means a different word. Okay, yeah, it is a different word. A restraint, limit, or restriction. Yeah. Strictures means okay, it is the right word. Prohibited females of the community from covering their upper body in the public. The upper caste Hindus had instituted the custom was necessary to distinguish the upper untouchable people. During the 19th century, this belief came under increasing attack from various untouchable groups and Christian missionaries. Will I support this? I will not challenge it, man. I like to see without cover. During the 19th century, this belief came under increased attack from various untouchable groups and Christian missionaries. The Chanar revolt helped the Nadar people to not follow the practice before Ayan Kali's birth. However, this revolt did not do anything for Pulia's self-dignity to cover themselves until 1950 or 16. Yeah, okay, 1915-16. Ayan Kali later became a member of Assembly of Travancore, known as Sri Mulam Popular Assembly or Praja Sabha. In 2002, Ayan Kali was commemorated on an Indian postage stamp. The historian P. Sanal Mohan has described Ayan Kali as the most important leader of modern Kerala. He is also known as the Kerala Spartacus. The anniversary of Ayan Kali's birth has been celebrated by his descendants and by special interest groups. I mean, Ayan Kali was if Ayan Kali was born in Maharashtra, it will have a big celebration. I don't know how much big celebration there is in Kerala.
The rulers of Kerala, the princely state of Travancore, would double down on this social transformation by investing highly in education and social services. Thus, Kerala had a huge leg up versus most other regions in India.
I mean, notice how this guy, does not mention Ayan Kali and lower caste people, but the Swamis and the kings.
When it came to various human development indicators, even since independence. However, the echoes of inequality still rang, especially when it came to Kerala's agrarian sector, which still saw a lot of this feudal caste dynamic play out. So by the time the CPI showed up, the soil had already been tilled by all these forces. The communists just planted their flag in it. Their first big move was land reform, redistributing land from landlords to tenants. This fundamentally transformed the agrarian dynamic we talked about. The leg up of Travancore was utilized by continuing to invest in education and health. Kerala today has some of the best literacy and health indicators in India. Thus, the education and health. Kerala today has some of the best literacy and health indicators in India.
75% life expectancy or 75 years of life expectancy.
Thus, the idea of the Kerala model was born, where the government provided a large amount of welfare to uplift its people. However, not everything is rosy here. The Kerala model is actually predicated on massive amounts of remittances from abroad. Why do so many people from Kerala migrate? Well, communism empowered trade unions, which stifled industrialization and growth. Kerala does not have many homegrown businesses or jobs. This has actually made it fall behind more development and investment oriented.
Industrialization, okay, 32%. Manufacturing share. Okay, it is not that bad actually. Manufacturing share of GCDP and that it is comparing Kerala's contribution to the India or its own share, right? Or to the state, maybe I don't know. Share of India's factories. Yeah, it's all right, man. It is not that low. Share of India's FTI equity inflows. I mean, why does this matter though? Like, people are living more longer and they are getting educated, they are living healthy life. Why does this industrialization and this matter?
States like Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, and Maharashtra. And this trend has reached its crescendo just a few weeks back, when the CPI lost elections in Kerala, which means for the first time in Indian history, communists do not control.
Yeah, the CPI lost to the anti-national party Congress, which literally led the Indian struggle or was the main party in the Indian struggle for freedom. Indians, and now they are anti-national. Rahul Gandhi is anti-national. So the anti-national Congress in this power.
A single state in the country. So how did the two other places fall? Well, our next destination is Bengal. Remember, it was Bengal that was the wellspring of revolutionary energy that first sparked the Indian independence movement. Back then, it was a lot more Hindu-coded, even Hindu nationalists. But by the time independence came around, Bengal, a famously intellectual and Anglicized society, began an affair with Marxism. Bengal had a massive amount of English speakers who interfaced with global intellectuals. At that time, Marxism was the it ideology of the world. So Bengal's elites turned left. Parallel to that was a similar agrarian crisis in Bengal, though not as caste-based and severe as Kerala. But the most underrated factor in communism's rise in Bengal actually comes from across the border, in what was then East Pakistan. In 1971, Pakistan began a genocide primarily aimed at the Bengali Hindus in East Pakistan. This led to a massive refugee crisis, swarming into the Indian state of West Bengal. Eventually, India stepped in to stop the genocide and defeated Pakistan in the 1971 war.
Okay, it was not just genocide of Bengali Hindus, okay? Yeah, the Pakistani military was also killing Bangladeshi Muslims. So I don't know why he frames like that. Otherwise, the if a country's majority is with the support for the genocide, then the country doesn't break into two. And when it becomes two, why did the genocide of Hindus stop then?
Leading to the birth of Bangladesh. Still, Hindu refugees continue to pour in. Experts estimate 300,000 to 3 million innocent people were killed by Pakistan, so many Bengali Hindus in Bangladesh still were shell-shocked from the barbarity and wanted safe haven in India. This caused a colossal economic crisis and a breaking point for the state. And here's where communists come in. They campaigned on land redistribution and helping these refugees, as well as those already poor living in West Bengal. Thus, they stormed into power in 1977 and ruled the state for 34 years. But unlike Kerala, Bengal would collapse. The most developed region in India would close for business and be economically annihilated. Bengal's share of industrial production fell from roughly 30% at independence to under 4% by 2020. The most industrialized fell from roughly 30% at independence to under 4%. Bengal's share of industrial production fell from roughly 30% at
I mean, even if Maharashtra has fallen, and seems like the other states did well,
independence.
and
To under 4% by 2020. The most industrialized state in India became an afterthought. But even past that, what really makes the CPI tenure of Bengal unique is its level of violence. Booth capturing, shakedowns of businessmen, continuous electoral violence and intimidation would be normalized across Bengal under CPI rule. And even the CPI successors who defeated them, the TMC, resorted to similar types of wanton violence to wrestle power from them. So the CPI's biggest legacy in Bengal would therefore be twofold, making Bengal anti-business and a normalization of grotesque violence. The TMC continued all this aplenty afterwards, claiming both of these were Bengali culture or some crap. They just lost elections as well a couple weeks back. These were Bengali violence. The TMC continued all this aplenty afterwards, claiming both of these were Bengali culture or some crap. They just lost elections as well a couple weeks back. But here's where I want to dial in on this aspect. This maddening aptitude for violent force. Because our last holdout of communism epitomizes this, and that is the Naxals. The start of Naxalism and the end of communism actually begins where we just left off, in Bengal. In the 1960s, the Naxalbari area of Bengal was the epicenter of peasant protests. What made this one a bit more unique, though, was that many of the protesters came from tribal communities.
okay. Wait. So far, you have done extremely horrible thing. You have said of extremely horrible things, but it seems like you are pro poor people, right? These poor peasants, you know, bad things had happened to them, so they revolted, right.
Now, Indian tribal communities have lived on the fringes of mainstream society for millennia.
Yeah, Indian tribal communities lived on the fringes. Yeah, I am right. Is he saying that? So he is, sympathetic for the Indian tribal communities.
Connected to it via things like commerce, labor, or military service, but never fully integrated. Anyway, major protests erupted in 1967. Many tribal peasants were protesting an arrangement that was basically bonded labor, and a situation where landlords could take pretty much anything they wanted from peasants at will. In May of that year, the protests reached their peak, and police would fire upon one such protest, killing 9 women and 1 child. This spark would engulf not just Naxalbari, not just Bengal, but a Syrian corridor that would reach a maximum extent.
Yeah, bad shit you should fight against. You agree with that? Because so far, yeah, man, like I don't want to be bonded labor. I'm fighting against that shit. Yeah. So are you a fucking Naxal supporter or sympathizer?
Of nearly 1/3 of India. They called it the Red Corridor, a scarlet scar that stretched from
Why the fuck it is spread into Arunachal Pradesh or sorry man, I don't know the name. UP, uh, Punjab. Wait, I have to check the. Oh man. Uttarakhand. Oh God, like why the Himachal Pradesh? I think this is Uttarakhand. Yeah. Yeah. Uttarakhand. Why the fuck it was in Uttarakhand? Like, I don't know.
from Nepal to Andhra Pradesh. For decades, large swaths of this area would not be under the control of the government of India. Instead, it was controlled by the Naxalites.
Yeah, it was also in Nepal. So yeah, I think they trade there also because of that.
Armed communists who wanted to mimic Mao Zedong's peasant revolution. For as these Naxalites spread, they proclaimed that the government of India was illegitimate, that it was a tool of capitalists and non-tribals used for oppressing the poor and tribals.
I mean, yeah, they are accurate too, like you just said. You know, the fucking government went against them and sent the police when they massacred their fucking slave lords. You know, they were literally bonded laborers, man. Like, I don't know, like, how that is a bad thing.
This was a genuine communist revolutionary movement that saw not just massive success, but also violence. But before we get into the violence, how did they obtain so much land in the middle of a country? Was it really through brute force or something a bit more sophisticated? Well, parallel to the march of the Naxals and jungles, in Indian cities, communist intellectuals were gathering funds and whitewashing Naxal terror. They provided the typical NGO type explanation for gruesome acts of violence and the killing of innocents.
Okay, like, why the fuck he is so obsessed with Arundhati Roy, man?
These urban Naxals, as it came to be known, would also connect with Chinese communist officials to wire funding and materials to their comrades in the countryside. Then they'd look west to Christian missionaries who
Stan saw me is not like Naxal, man.
also were helping the Naxals in a bid to convert them. So it was this wild situation where China and America were trying to rip the middle of India apart via a weird...
Yeah, the China that said we will provide India with support to crush the Naxals. Yeah, the same China, you know. Why just says things without evidence? Where is fucking evidence, man? Okay, these sources, these FBI leaked documents, or opened up. They are opened up now. That kind of documents, this kind of things. Where are your sources, man? Like, why the fuck you make thing out of air? Why the fuck you lie, man? Yes, show me the fucking sources, okay? And you literally showed the source, like the fucking Dakshas were literally bonded laborers, and it is pretty much agreed upon. Like the Naxal were really, very in bad conditions, man, by the elites of that area, and they pretty much fought against them. Yeah, everyone didn't have every Naxal didn't same similar problems. Like somewhere against big capitalists who are mining in that area, somewhere against landlords who are making them slaves or kept them as a slave. How is that bad thing? Like, yeah, man, like you are literally making us bonded laborers. Like, we wanna fight, we wanna be free.
weird combination of Christianity and communism. However, eventually people started to emerge from these Naxal areas as refugees. You see, the violence was getting absolutely insane. I'm talking about child soldiers, terrible sexual violence towards women, beheadings, derailing of trains, attacks on schools, roads, any infrastructure that would try to connect these Naxals to mainstream India. So soon enough, many of these tribals and former Naxals would become informants for the government of India. The government would then step up forces to counter these Naxals, something that would soon become a de facto guerrilla war. By the late 2000s, and especially the 2010s, the Indian government began crushing the movement, through a combination of defectors, brute force, and most curiously, governance. The thing
Okay, I'm gonna say something, controversial, but bad. The Naxals are not unpopular. They are not unpopular. Okay, the Indian state and the media can lie all they want, but I know they are popular in that area and region. I don't fucking care, and I also don't like know the Nakshal Maoist type of shit. I don't like Maoism, so I don't like the ideological thought process of these groups. But I do understand like they are facing problems, and that's why they are fighting. Just nobody wakes up and picks up the gun and goes to fight. Unless you are facing severe problems, like you are literally bonded labor now. And then only you can do these kind of things.
thing is, when the government would take over formerly Naxal areas, they'd ensure proper schools, infrastructure, electricity, water access, and other basics were given. For these people, they'd never seen stuff like this. They also got bank accounts to get welfare if they were poor, which almost all of them were. The government also cracked down on foreign funding from missionaries and NGOs that would normalize and finance Naxal atrocities. And by March of 2026, the Red Corridor has shrunk to just a handful of districts. The communists were pretty much defeated, at least the violent ones. And this again is just another notch on that line of treason we've been seeing across Indian history when it comes to communism. Because while I think Indians are open to a bunch of communist ideas and policies, where Indian communism has gone wrong is that it is fundamentally anti-Indian. It hates the country of India, the idea of its civilization. It
Okay, no, I don't think so. Like you are just making shit up. Oh, it fundamentally anti-India. Yeah, they literally have fought for like according to your own video for the poor. Yeah, they were literally fighting for the poor, and the poor are pretty much the Nakshals. The Nakshals are not rich people in South Bombay. Okay, they are poor tribals. Yeah, sure, you may not like them. That's fine, but they are not rich people in any way or form. Which
despises native Indian religions, and it wants
okay. I mean, like I don't think so. Like the Nakshal, they didn't attack temples or something like that. Yeah, sure, they attack trains and politicians and army. Like they are in literally a war now. So I think you kill leaders of other side and soldiers of other side when you are in a war.
to eradicate indigenous Indian culture.
I mean, the Nakshals are the indigenous. Okay, the Nakshals are indigenous people. Okay, they are not dropped from Mars or America or London. They literally were born there. You, you may not like them and their ideas or their way of fighting, which is fine. Okay, I also don't have full agreement with that. Hey, they were indigenous people. They are not something out of Mars or England or not sitting in USA like you.
This is just too much to stomach for most Indians, even if they like a lot of left wing ideas. And it's in this last section where we have to explore this
Indian don't like left wing ideas, first of all. If Indians like left wing ideas, okay, most of Indians don't like left wing ideas. So, okay, some do like it and continue to fight for it. But most Indians don't like it. They are traditional and not really that much of a progressive people. They believe in caste system and everything that is pretty much not leftist in any way.
dialectic, where while the Communist Party of India has crashed out, yet communism itself is still so influential.
This guy wants to label Rahul Gandhi as communist, man. I wish Rahul Gandhi was a communist in a meaningful way. I don't even think the CPI or all they are communist in any way. Like Nah, they are not, man. It's just a name now. You know, just a name.
In Indian politics. The most underrated aspect of communism's failure in India is actually Nehru's embrace of it. Sounds strange, but think of it like a double-edged sword. For nearly 4 years after independence, India ran 5-year plans, state-owned industries, central planning, bank nationalization, the entire communist economic playbook executed by the Communist Party. The communists didn't lose the economic argument. They won it. They just weren't around to take credit. Marxist ideas spread across Indian academia, causing leftist theories of Indian politics and economics to dominate for decades. Eventually, the CPI would even ally with the Congress Party on many occasions. This sounds like an ideological victory, but it's actually a dilution. Because the Communist Party was so inept and traitorous, it could not capitalize on these. It's actually a dilution. Because the Communist Party was so inept and traitorous.
Yeah, but Arundhati Roy doesn't have, is she in CPI or something like that? Why the fuck you are, making people with diverse ideas? Isn't it clear that, the government that crushed Naxals had support of Communist Party of India, I guess? It was like second biggest ruling party at that time after the Congress. Yeah. Like, oh, they are evil, man. They are anti-India, man. Oh, no, they are very, very evil. The communists, man, the Lakshas, man. Like, there are these are different groups, different people with different interests. The, communists living in Mumbai who supports CPI and the Naxal living in somewhere in the, which man, Gadchorili jungle is not the same type of person with same needs. They have different agenda.
It could not capitalize on these ideological successes. Rather, the ideology was absorbed by other parties. Even today, right-wing parties like the BJP are very socialist when it comes to economics.
Oh yeah, the right-wing parties are very socialist, man. Like, they give ration. If they do not give, then India will, the people will pretty much starve. It is socialist, man. In which country the state gives nothing to the people, man? I don't know such a country. Please tell me that.
Welfare and state involvement in the economy is basically omnipresent across the Indian political spectrum. Even culturally,
yeah, free bus rides is equal to communism. Yeah, Brahmins live Ekka campus. Like, oh, okay, wait. Brahmins leave the campus. Fuck, man, I can't read.
leftist ideas around caste and religion dominated Indian discourse for
there will be blood.
Decades. Only seriously challenged after the rise of Modi in 2014, as Hindu nationalism has come to the fore. Decades. Only seriously challenged. Leftist ideas around caste and religion dominated Indian discourse for decades.
No, they didn't, man. Like, if they dominated, the BJP would never come to power. And even today, like, there is no, like, serious academic right wing, whatever, man, there is no support for that kind of thing.
Only seriously challenged after the rise of Modi in 2014, as Hindu nationalism has come to the fore. But you want to know the strangest part of this whole story. I used to tease one of my progressive friends that Modi has done more socialism in one term than Bernie Sanders has in his entire life. And that's objectively true. But
yeah, Modi has done more socialism than Bernie. Yeah, and you are a fucking dumbass. And that is objectively true. Because I said so. Giving free shit is not socialism. Any way of Modi's party increases the working hours. A socialist government will never do that kind of thing.
there's something more to that. Recall that Gandhi took the revolutionary energy of independence from the communists. He stole their thunder, basically. Well, I believe that process is underway again. India is changing rapidly due to technology and modernity. It is undergoing a massive momentum of churn and change, and that is being capitalized upon by the Hindu nationalists now, not communists. In Kerala and Bengal, we are seeing CPI members switch their vote to the BJP. They even have a slogan for it, Ram before Vam. Besides
Before Ram? Wait.
CPI members switch their vote to the BJP. They even have a slogan for it, Ram before Vam.
Lord Ram before the. What?
We are seeing CPI members switch their vote to the BJP. They even have a slogan for it, Ram before Vam. Besides the failure of the CPI, it's the fact
What? What the fuck is the slogan?
not communists. In Kerala and Bengal, we are seeing CPI members switch their vote to the BJP. They even have a slogan for it, Ram before Vam.
Ram before. Okay, I am unable to understand. I never heard the slogan, man. I never heard the slogan.
Besides the failure of the CPI, it's the fact
Even I didn't heard a BJP person on Twitter saying that. Like, I never heard that.
that the BJP is now the party of change in India, while the left is the status quo. Because leftism and Marxism spread so broadly and deeply in India, it became the establishment and is associated with a lot of legacy problems in India. BJP
Yeah. The left and socialism are the reason India is poor, and the good developed part are capitalism. Oh, very, very funny, man. Like, I'm so smart, man. I'm objectively fucking smart, man. Like, capitalism good, man. You know? Giving free ration is socialist, man. Like, I tell to my friend, what does he tell to his friend? I don't know, man. What the fuck he tells to his friend? Yeah, he tells to his friend like India is object. No. Modi's objective has done more socialism than Bernie Sanders. Yeah, he tells that to his friend. Objective, and he is a fucking dumbass.
and Hindu nationalism are in that way a wrecking ball to the incumbent. They are the revolutionaries now. They are the avatar of change. And
Yeah, they are the avatar of change. Change as what, man? Like they have BJP and RSS have like slogan or a tag like which is like Samajik Samarasta, means social harmony. They didn't believe in change or anything, okay? They believe in social harmony. There is a caste system in India. Yeah, it is fine. We will have a harmony with it.
And after 3 successive electoral victories at the center and an Overton-shattering win in Bengal this year, the BJP and Hindu nationalism look like they are here to stay for a long time. So it's
Yeah, they are here to stay in long time. After defeat in the Lok Sabha, and not a defeat, but a reduction of seats with pretty much one-sided election commission, pretty much one-sided everything. Everything is one-sided, and I don't even believe the election are real anymore. Like whatever till the BJP seats came down. So I don't know, man. Like how much popular BJP is now.
It's this ironic twist of fate, once again. The energy of an Indian revolution has been captured by someone who speaks the language India actually understands. Not class, not materialism, but civilization, identity, and dharma. The communists
Yeah,
never learned to speak India's language, and ultimately, that is why India never spoke theirs.
I
India
mean,
was supposed to be communist.
the communists did speak people's language. That's why they had a immense influence over a long region in India. The thing is that they were just crushed and are currently suppressed. So don't worry, they are still there. Whenever you suppress a thing, it doesn't mean it's over. It just, starts to spread out and leaks out here and there. And it can come up like a fucking, big flood, dam busting thing. So we don't know. Don't know. And I don't want Lenin's communism. I want Marx communism. I don't like Lenin. I don't care about it. And this video is a trash pretty much. Do. You will watch this.
संकट का ही संकेत है और मामला गंभीर है। और चूंकि मामला गंभीर है इसीलिए उसे गहराई से समझा जाना चाहिए। त्वरित प्रतिक्रिया
Sonam Wangchuk is on a hunger strike, and I think the many people are, having celebrities and famous people are commenting on it. Also, I think the demands of the protest are pretty stupid. Like resign Dharmendra Pradhan. Like, what does his resignation will do? Like, it will do pretty much nothing. It's not like the Dharmendra Pradhan crossed the leaking of the system or the papers. He was just a guy at the top. I don't think Dharmendra Pradhan caused the leaking, man. Like he didn't earn money from the paper leaks or something like that. He's too rich for that. What's his net worth, man? Let's see. Pradhan. Oh yeah. Okay, he's not that rich. 6.2 crore. Ooh. He's not that rich, man. Okay. As far I know. 6 crores. Wait a minute, I have call. ओके।
देने का हमारा मन करता है कि इंस्टेंट रिएक्शन दे दिया, पर जब बात गंभीर होती है तो थोड़ा रुक कर विचार करके उसे गंभीरता से देखा जाना चाहिए। तो शुरू से शुरू करते हैं, हुआ क्या है। नीट का पेपर था, 22 लाख हम आवेदकों की, स्टूडेंट्स की बात कर रहे हैं। ये 22 लाख परिवार हैं, ये 22 लाख परिवार हैं, और ये सिर्फ पेपर के एक दिन घट जाने वाली घटना नहीं है। इन स्टूडेंट्स ने, किसी ने 2 साल, किसी ने 4 साल, कुछ तो 5 साल वाले भी होते हैं, इतना समय लगाया था। इन्होंने खेल के मैदान छोड़े थे, इन्होंने अपना बचपन छोड़ा था, इन्होंने जीने का साधारण ढर्रा छोड़ा था, इन्होंने त्योहार उत्सव छोड़े थे, और इन्होंने कहा था कि हम जान लगाएंगे और हम सफल होकर दिखाएंगे। सफलता का उनके लिए जो भी अर्थ रहा, उस पर हम बाद में आएंगे। और इन्हें पता चलता है कि पेपर लीक हो गया है, पेपर लीक हो गया है। ठीक है, प्रशासन उस पर कार्रवाई करता है, परीक्षा दोबारा ली जाती है और गिरफ्तारियां भी होती हैं। लेकिन जब ऐसा बार बार होता है, लगभग हर साल पेपर लीक की घटना घटती है, नीट का भी कोई पहली बार लीक नहीं हो रहा है, और अलग अलग परीक्षाएं हैं, उनमें अलग अलग तरह की गड़बड़ियाँ हर साल ही सामने आती रहती हैं, तो युवाओं का भरोसा टूट जाता है। वो कहते हैं हमारे ज्ञान की, श्रम की कोई कीमत नहीं है। वो कहते हैं चलेगी तो उसकी जो बेईमान है और जिसके पास पैसा है, जो जाकर के व्यवस्था को खरीद सकता है। और ये निष्कर्ष उनके साथ किसी एक दिन नहीं रह जाता, किसी एक घटना में नहीं रह जाता, जिंदगी किसी एक साल में नहीं रह जाता। वो इस निष्कर्ष को साथ लेकर के आगे का अपना समूचा जीवन जीते हैं। अब सोचिए वो किस तरह के नागरिक बनेंगे। सच्चाई, ईमानदारी, ज्ञान, श्रम, कौशल, इनसे उनका भरोसा उठने लग जाता है, और पूरा का पूरा परिवार इससे प्रभावित होता है। उनके आसपास रिश्तों का जो पूरा तंत्र होता है वो इससे प्रभावित होता है, क्योंकि भारत में ऐसा होता है कि पूरे परिवार ने मिल करके एक छात्र या छात्रा से तैयारी कराई होती है। पूरे परिवार के सपनों का बोझ वो जो युवा है वो अपने कंधों पर ढो रहा होता है, तो सब इससे प्रभावित होते हैं और सब टूट जाते हैं। ये हमें समझना पड़ेगा कि चीज़ गंभीर है। टूट इस हद तक जाते हैं कि 5, 10 या शायद 15 आत्महत्याएं हुई हैं। और ये अभी हम हाल के महीनों की बात कर रहे हैं। अगर आप इसमें जोड़ेंगे कि प्रतिवर्ष कितने छात्र आत्मघात कर लेते हैं, अलग अलग तरीके से खुद को नुकसान पहुंचा लेते हैं, तो आप पाएंगे कि आंकड़े उपलब्धि नहीं है, क्योंकि खुद को नुकसान पहुंचाने के नज़ारे कितने तरीके हो सकते हैं। और एक इंसान भीतर से टूट जा रहा है, दुनिया से, व्यवस्था से, उसका भरोसा।
और किसी ने आत्महत्या भी नहीं करी, और लेकिन वो बहुत टेंशन में होगा और नो स्ट्रेस में होगा ये एग्ज़ाम के वजह से। तो ऐसे तो बहुत से लोग हो जाएंगे भाई फिर भी लाइक 22 लाख में तो 11 लाख तो ऐसे ही होंगे, फिर 11 लाख तो।
भरोसा ही हट जा रहा है, ये अपने आप में बहुत बड़ा आत्मघात है। तो ये हाल है, युवाओं का आक्रोश हमें हर साल देखने को मिलता है। पिछले साल भी देखने को मिला था, पिछले साल भी देखने को मिला था। मैंने उस पर बात लिखी थी, अभी इसी साल भी मैंने उस पर अपना एक कॉलम लिखा अखबार में। पहले भी आप लोग आए थे और वीडियो भी आपने इसी तरीके से कहा था कि कुछ बोल दीजिए, मैंने इस पर बोला हुआ। पिछले साल की बात थी। ये हर साल होता है, और भरोसा इंसान का टूटता ही जा रहा है। थोड़ा बहुत वो प्रतिक्रिया करते हैं और फिर ढाकी तीन पाक। इस साल लेकिन कुछ अलग हुआ है। इस साल एक भरोसे का आदमी सामने आया है, और मैं उस व्यक्ति को भरोसे का क्यों बोल रहा हूँ, क्योंकि
कौन? अभिजीत दीपके अभिजीत दीपके इज नॉट भरोसे का आदमी, मैन। ही वॉज इन आप एंड ही हैज फील्ड इन anti-human and anti-LGBTQ people, like liberals, man. Like, man, I don't think so. मुझे नहीं लगता वो भरोसे का आदमी है। हाँ, सोनम वांगचुक, या मैन, लाइक इससे पहले तो सोनम वांगचुक supported the BJP when they removed Article 370, but when he started fucking up his own state, then he's go on did go on a hunger strike there also, but the BJP didn't listen, and some riot happened in Ladakh and they put him in the jail, and in surprising manner the state also released him. The courts didn't release him, the state released him, okay? and now he is here doing Bhuk Hartal. So yeah, no, all of them have a shady history.
जितना मैं देख पा रहा हूँ एक इंसान होने के नाते अंतर्यामी नहीं हूँ, किसी के दिल में झांक करके नहीं देख सकता, लेकिन जितना उस व्यक्ति का ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड गवाही दे रहा है वो एक गंभीर सिंसियर व्यक्ति है। मैं बात कर रहा हूँ सोनम वांगचुक जी की।
Okay, Sonam Wangchuk की, लेकिन अभिजीत दीपके is the leader, no? और मेन गाय।
उन्होंने एक ऐसी जगह पर जो समझिए एक सूखे रेगिस्तान जैसी है, सूखा ठंडा रेगिस्तान, वहाँ लोगों को सिखाया गया कि पानी कैसे सही जाना है। जहाँ जो हमारी औपचारिक व्यवस्था है वो शिक्षा मुहैया ही नहीं करवा पा रही थी, वहाँ उन्होंने बच्चों को स्कूल तक पहुँचाया। ठीक है, उन्होंने अपनी जिंदगी के माध्यम से ये दिखाया कि शिक्षा रट्टा मारने का ही नाम नहीं है, शिक्षा का अर्थ सही जीवन जीना भी हो सकता है, और उनको अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सम्मान इत्यादि मिले हुए हैं। तो हमारे पास पर्याप्त कारण है ये मानने का कि ये व्यक्ति भरोसे के लायक है। अब वो अपनी कुछ मांगों को लेकर के अनशन पर बैठ गए हैं। उनकी मांगों की राजनीति क्या है मैं नहीं जानता, राजनीति से मैं बहुत सरकार रखता नहीं, लेकिन फिर भी इस मुद्दे पर बोलूंगा जरूर। एक शिक्षक होने के नाते, एक ऐसा शिक्षक जो एक दूसरे शिक्षक को मृत्यु की तरफ जाते हुए देख रहा है, बोलना जरूरी हो जाता है। तो सबसे पहले तो मैं सोनम जी से ही बोलूंगा कि देखिए, भारत की ज्यादा सेवा आप जीवित रहकर कर सकते हैं। आज 18 दिन हो गए आपके फास्ट को, अनशन को, आप इसको तोड़े। समाज को, लद्दाख को, भारत को, पर्यावरण को, शिक्षा को आपकी आवश्यकता है, आप अपनी प्राण रक्षा करें। तो ये मेरा वांगचुक जी से आग्रह रहेगा। और चूंकि वो बात करना चाह रहे हैं भारत सरकार से, तो भारत सरकार से भी मैं यही आग्रह करूंगा कि बात कीजिए, कृपया बात कीजिए। राजनीति का धर्म होता है लोकतंत्र, और इस धर्म के शील होते हैं संयम, सम्मान, संवाद, मर्यादा। तो बात करिए, बात करने में क्या हर्ज हो सकता है, बात करने में तो कोई नुकसान नहीं है। और लोकतंत्र को ये शोभा भी नहीं देता कि सरकार से सिर्फ बात करने के लिए एक समझदार और सम्मानीय नागरिक को अपने प्राणों को दांव पे लगाना पड़े। तो ये तो बात यहाँ तक हो गई जो आंदोलन चल रहा है। और आप लोग मीडिया से आए हैं, आप लोगों की शायद उम्मीद होगी कि मैं इतना ही बोल करके रुक जाऊंगा, क्योंकि आप लोग आंदोलन को और इस पूरे मुद्दे को इतनी ही दूर तक शायद देख भी पा रहे हैं। आपके सवाल में भी यही बात नहीं थी कि ये आंदोलन चल रहा है, इसमें ऐसा हो रहा है, वैसा हो रहा है, इसमें कुछ बोल दीजिए। तो मैंने बोल दिया, लेकिन मैं समझता हूँ कि मैंने जो कुछ बोला है उसने मुद्दे को आधे से भी कम कवर करा है। अभी असली बात अभी कहीं जानी बाकी है। और असली बात क्या है, वापस आते हैं, हुआ क्या है। जो हुआ है उसमें दो घटनाएं शामिल है। पहली घटना के बारे में तो हम खूब चर्चा कर रहे हैं, पर जो दूसरी घटना है ज्यादा महत्वपूर्ण है, वो छुपी हुई है। मैं दोनों घटनाएं आपके सामने लाता हूं। पहली चीज ये हुई है कि सिस्टम फेलियर हुई है, व्यवस्था टूटी है। भाई शिक्षा व्यवस्था है, एक पेपर लीक हो गया जो होना नहीं चाहिए था। आपका जो टेस्टिंग सिस्टम है, जो प्रोसेसेस हैं, उनमें सीधे दरार सामने आई है, और वो दरार अभी की नहीं है, बार बार सामने आ रही है। और उस दरार को लेकर के हम सभी कुपित भी हैं, और हम चाहते हैं कि उस दरार को भरा भी जाए। लेकिन जो इस पूरी बात का दूसरा पहलू है, उसको आंदोलन, अनशन, इस्तीफा कोई भी संबोधित नहीं कर रहा है। उसकी बात ना जंतर मंतर में हो रही है, ना संसद में हो रही है। मैं दूसरा पहलू आपके सामने लाना चाहता हूं, क्योंकि और कोई मुझे उस दूसरे पक्ष की बात करता दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है। पहली बात तो ये है कि पेपर लीक हो गया है। तो दूसरी बात सुनिए, पेपर का लीक होना एक बच्चे की, एक छात्र, एक युवा की जिंदगी से ज्यादा कीमती कैसे हो गया? ऐसे कैसे हो गया कि 1 दर्जन से ज्यादा युवाओं ने, पढ़ने में आ रहा है अभी लोगों की रिपोर्ट्स में, अभी अपनी जान ले ली। और हर साल ऐसा होता है कि इन्हीं प्रतियोगी परीक्षाओं के दबाव में आकर के दर्जनों, यदि सैकड़ों नहीं तो कम से कम दर्जनों युवा अपनी जान ले लेते हैं। भाई पेपर का लीक होना, मेरी बात को समझिए, पेपर का लीक होना एक बात है, और पेपर का लीक हो जाना इतनी बड़ी बात बन जाना कि हमारे युवा उसके लिए अपनी जान देना शुरू कर दें, बिल्कुल दूसरी बात है। इस दूसरी बात की चर्चा कोई क्यों नहीं कर रहा? मैं इस दूसरी बात की चर्चा करना चाहता हूं। वो ज्यादा जरूरी है। किसने हमारे युवाओं को यह सिखाया कि एक रैंक की कीमत उनकी जिंदगी से ज्यादा है? किसने
समाज और माँ बाप का प्रेशर और दूसरे कोई चीज़ें करने की ये ना होना, मार्ग ना होना, या पता ना होना कि दूसरी भी चीज़ें करी जा सकती है, या ना ही होना भाई। लाइक तुम ज़्यादा क्या कर सकते हो भाई? या नीट जी आईआईटी दो या फिर आईटी सेक्टर में जाओ, इनके छोड़ के तो भाई सारी सोशली मतलब ये देखा जाता है इन सबको। अगर इन इन थोड़ों चीज़ों को गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉय इन सबको छोड़ दिया जाए, बाकी सारे जो काम है उनको तो, ए भाई मैं जोमेटो का ड्राइवर डिलीवरी बॉय हूँ, ए क्या है रे भाई तू, ए भाई मैं यू नो वेल्डिंग करता हूँ, वेल्डिंग। अरे क्या है इसका काम? लाइक पीपल सी सी दैट वे, ओके, सी यू एज अ पुअर पर्सन। अरे भाई मैं गिलाव करने जाता हूँ यू नो बिल्डिंगों में। पीपल डोंट सी यू लाइक नाइसली, दे सी यू एज अ लूजर।
इसने उनको ये बताया कि उनकी पूरी जिंदगी इस बात से तय होनी है कि उन्होंने कोई कॉम्पिटिटिव एंट्रेंस एग्जाम क्लियर किया कि नहीं किया। किसने सिखाया भाई? पेपर लीक हुआ है, इसमें तो हम ऐसे कह रहे हैं जैसे कोई बाहर घटना घटी कि जैसे व्यवस्था में गुजार बैठा था, पेपर लीक कर दिया। पेपर ऐसे नहीं लीक होते, समझिए बात। पेपर लीक तब होते हैं जब
I think I agree with Acharya Prashant here, man. Like, yeah, I think he's hitting the right point. Resignation, protest, bhukata. Yeah, always this is unimportant. Okay, this is not that much of a important.
कोई
But
लीक कर
people coming in pressure because of it, and committing suicides and all that. That is a main problem. People be getting obsessed with this exam and not saying anything outside of it. Obsessed and stressed.
करने वाला हो और कोई उस लीक पेपर को खरीदने के लिए भी तैयार हो, और खरीदने में सिर्फ तैयार ना हो, भारी पैसे देने को तैयार हो। और भारी पैसे तो दिए ही जाएंगे जब 22 लाख कैंडिडेट्स हैं कुछ हजार सीटों के लिए, तो जबरदस्त भगदड़ मचती है, और इस भगदड़ में दलाल तो पैदा होंगे ना। मैं जानना चाहता हूं कि इतने लाख जो हमारे बच्चे हैं उनको क्यों हमने मजबूर किया हुआ है एक ही दिशा में जाने के लिए? ये मजबूरी कहां से है? और जब वो पेपर इतनी बड़ी बात हो जाती है, तो अर्थशास्त्र का नियम है कि कई बार ऐसा भी होता है कि डिमांड क्रिएट्स सप्लाई। नहीं तो ये भी हो सकता था कि पेपर लीक कराने कोई मौजूद होता और ग्राहकों में ही बहुत ज्यादा उत्सुकता न पाई जाती, तो ये इतना बड़ा कारण नहीं बनता। पर आज अगर आप देखें तो ये जो वक्तव्य है कि स्टूडेंट की जिंदगी एक रिजल्ट पर निर्भर करती है,
मुझे ये नहीं समझ आता भाई, ये जो लीक करने वाले लोग हैं, why the fuck they leak to everybody, like टेलीग्राम पे भी डाल रहे हैं, ये करे। अरे भाई तुम तुम्हारे 4-15 दोस्त के साथ करके निकलो ना भाई ये। ओके भाई, ओके मैन, लाइक आई एम लाइक दैट, मोर लाइक दैट काइंड ऑफ पर्सन। लाइक हर जगह क्या भंडारा क्यों बड़ा बेच रहे हो टेलीग्राम पे या व्हाट्सएप पे? तुम तुम्हारे 4 दोस्त लीक करो और निकलो भाई। ओके मैन, लाइक सॉरी मैन, ओके लाइक भाई मेरा तो नीट के ऊपर कोई अच्छा ओपिनियन नहीं है। आई डिसलाइक नीट जी फ्रॉम माई फकिंग हार्ट। अगर किसी को नीट में जाना ही है, इतनी खाज उठी है, अरे भाई तेरे पास कोई लीक करने का जरिया है कि तुझे पेपर मिल सकता है पहले, अरे तू देख, दोस्तों को देख, बहुत ही अच्छा दोस्त होगा तू, और निकल ना। क्या है तू हर जगह टेलीग्राम पे डाल रहा है, ये डाल रहा है, कूल बनने की कोशिश कर रहा है। अब जाएगा ना जेल में, जा अब जेल में।
ये वक्तव्य देने में कोचिंग सेंटर्स, टीचर्स, पेरेंट्स, खुद स्टूडेंट्स, जाहिर सी बात है, भ्रष्ट अधिकारी और दलाल, ये सब शामिल है, और सब एक ही बात कह रहे हैं, ये सब शामिल है। पूरा बाजार सजा हुआ है, बेचने वाले की ओर से भी और खरीदने वाले की ओर से भी। पेपर का लीक होना इस बाजार में घटी कोई दुर्घटना नहीं है, पेपर का लीक होना इस बाजार का एक प्रोडक्ट है, उत्पाद है। एक बेचने को तैयार है, खरीदने को तैयार है, क्योंकि दोनों ने एक साझी बात मान ली है कि इस पेपर की कीमत बहुत बहुत ज्यादा है। अगर मेरे बच्चे को ये पेपर मिल गया, अगर उसने ये एंट्रेंस एग्जाम क्लियर कर लिया, तो सारे सपने साकार हो जाएंगे, उसकी जिंदगी बन जाएगी, हम जाकर के दुनिया में कह पाएंगे कि देखो देखो।
I mean, people have literally paid 60 lakhs because their children didn't meet the qualification criteria by 1 or 2 marks to enter a college. 60 lakhs, man, and they are not rich people. I know them. Okay, they are not rich. Yeah, they sold their land and type of shit, man. It is not a small deal for people.
तो देखो मेरा बच्चा डॉक्टर बन गया, इंजीनियर बन गया, कुछ और बन गया, इतने तरह के एंट्रेंस एग्जाम्स हैं, और अगर मेरा बच्चा वो क्लियर नहीं कर पाया तो वो दुनिया क्या घर की नजरों से, दिमागों की नजरों से बिखर जाएगा। मैं जानना चाहता हूँ ये बाजार किसने सजाया? ये बाजार देखिए उस दलाल ने नहीं सजाया है जिसने पेपर लीक कराया। ये बाजार किसी मंत्रालय ने भी नहीं सजाया है, हालांकि इसमें प्रतिभागी सब है, बाजार में मौजूद सब है, लेकिन ये मूल्य व्यवस्था, ये वैल्यू सिस्टम कि बच्चे सब कुछ छोड़ करके तू कई साल लगा दे अपनी जिंदगी की सिर्फ एक एंट्रेंस एग्जाम क्लियर करने में। ये वैल्यू सिस्टम तो घर पर बना है, ये रिश्तेदारों की मीटिंग्स में बना है।
हाँ, घर पे भी बना है, लेकिन ऑन द लार्जर स्केल सोसाइटी में बना है ना। घर में कहाँ से आ गया? सोसाइटी में होगा तो ही घर में आएगा ना। अगर सोसाइटी में नहीं है तो घर में भी नहीं आएगा। और इन अ वे इट इज राइट, मैन। लाइक वी डोंट हैव लॉट्स ऑफ ऑप्शंस. We don't have lots of option, and people look down on many kinds of works, and the work is also not that fun. Okay, being worker in Noida, retail recent protest, you are working for like 12,000 rupees. It's not fun, man. Like, and when you protest, people call you anti-national. Like, I mean, this kind of thing is not fun. Working for 12,000 rupee a month is not fun, man. I I can't support it, nor I will say that, oh, it is very, very good job. So people, naturally go towards need G, because the monthly salary will be much higher if they qualified for it. So yeah, it just not घर में सिखाया गया है। नहीं, घर में आया है क्योंकि अगर दूसरे अल्टरनेटिव उतने अच्छे नहीं है, घर में इसलिए आ गया ना। अगर दूसरे अल्टरनेटिव होते तो नहीं आता भाई। घर में कोई भी चीज ऐसी हवा से नहीं पैदा होती।
ये अभिभावकों की निगरानी में बना है। बच्चे पर ये जो दबाव बनाया गया है, ये दबाव किसने बनाया, मैं ये जानना चाह रहा हूं। मैं अभिभावकों से सवाल करना चाहता हूं, पेरेंट्स से। आपके घर एक बच्चा पैदा हुआ था, साधारण बच्चा, सुंदर बच्चा, प्रकृति का उपहार। आपने उसको एक एंट्रेंस एग्जाम प्रोजेक्ट कब बना दिया, ये बता तो दीजिए। और क्यों बना दिया? क्यों उसके ऊपर इतना प्रेशर डाल दिया? क्यों उस पेपर की इतनी ज्यादा वैल्यू कर दी कि पहली बात तो वो पेपर अब लाखों करोड़ों में बिके, और दूसरी बात अगर वो बच्चा उस पेपर को क्लियर ना कर पाए तो वो जिंदगी भर के लिए इंफीरियोरिटी में चला जाए। आपका बच्चा है, बच्चे से अगर आप प्यार करते होते तो आप बच्चे की सेल्फ वर्थ को किसी एग्जाम के एक पर्टिकुलर रिजल्ट से नहीं बांध देते। ये बात प्यार की नहीं होती है। और ये मेरा सवाल था पेरेंट्स से। इसी तरह से मैं टीचर से सवाल करना चाहता हूं। देखिए, ये जानी सी बात है कि दो तरह की शिक्षा होती है, एक वो जो आजीविका देती है और एक वो जो जीवन देती है। एक वो जो लाइवलीहुड देती है और एक वो जो लाइफ देती है। एक में नॉलेज आता है जो लाइवलीहुड के लिए जरूरी है, और एक में आत्मज्ञान आता है जो भीतरी तौर पर जीवित होने के लिए जरूरी है। आपने एजुकेशन को कैसे डिफाइन किया एज टीचर्स? कैसे डिफाइन किया? और टीचर्स में मैं स्कूल के टीचर्स की भी बात कर रहा हूं और जो कोचिंग से टीचर्स हैं उनकी भी बात कर रहा हूं। आपने तो स्टूडेंट के सामने एक दुनिया रख दी, एक कॉन्सेप्ट, एक मॉडल रख दिया कि तुम आजीविका वाली जो चीज है, जो रेस है, उसमें दौड़ करके आगे पहुंच जाओ तो तुम सक्सेसफुल कहलाओगे। ये आपने क्या किया बच्चे के साथ?
हाँ, उन्होंने भी किया, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं कि वो नहीं सक्सेसफुल कहे कहे जाएंगे अगर वो नहीं करे तो। वो अगर वो नहीं किया, जो अल्टरनेटिव है, जो कि है 12,000 का काम। हाँ श्योर, कोई और भी अल्टरनेटिव हो सकते हैं, लेकिन भाई नहीं है भाई। अल्टरनेटिव हो गए फुकट में, ये मत करो। देर आर नॉट दैट मच ऑफ अल्टरनेटिव। और सोशली रिस्पेक्टेबल और डिसेंट सी सैलरी हो गई, उसके तो कोई ये ही नहीं है। फिर तो बहुत कम जॉब बच जाती है। डॉक्टर, इंजीनियर, लॉयर या आईटी वाले अभी अभी आ गए, मतलब 20-30 सालों से। हाँ, इनके जॉब्स की रिस्पेक्ट विस्पेक्ट होगी, पैसा अच्छा कमाते हैं, लाइफ ठीक होती है, सबसे वर्स्ट तो नहीं होती। दिस एग्जाम पेव द वे फॉर दैट काइंड ऑफ जॉब्स। That's why they are in, high demand and have a high social status.
ये आपने क्या किया? आपने उसको लाइवलीहुड अर्न करने का एक एक जरिया बना दिया बस। क्यों? क्योंकि उसमें आपके लिए भी तभी पैसा है। आपने एजुकेशन का मतलब ही बना दिया वोकेशनल एजुकेशन। एजुकेशन का मतलब अब डेवलपमेंट ऑफ द इंडिविजुअल नहीं रहा। एजुकेशन का मतलब तो अब ये भी है कि सप्रेशन ऑफ द इंडिविजुअल भी चलेगा, डेसिमेशन ऑफ द इंडिविजुअल भी चलेगा। इंडिविजुअल को जो कि अभी हमारा स्टूडेंट है, यंगस्टर है, छात्र छात्रा है, उसको बर्बाद भी कर दो तो भी चलेगा, बस एंट्रेंस एग्जाम क्लियर होना चाहिए। आप टीचर से आपने क्या किया? मैं पूछना चाहता हूँ आपने क्या किया? और जैसे पेरेंट्स से पूछा, जैसे टीचर से पूछा, वैसे मैं स्टूडेंट से पूछना चाहता हूँ। हाँ, अच्छी बात है, आप मांग कर रहे हो, आप मांग कर रहे हो कि इंसाफ हो, आप मांग कर रहे हो कि निष्पक्ष एंट्रेंस एग्जाम हो, निष्पक्ष परीक्षा आपका अधिकार है और आपको न्याय मिलना चाहिए और आपको ये मांग करनी चाहिए। लेकिन मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाहता हूं कि आप जिंदगी से जितनी मांगे कर रहे हो, उन मांगों के पीछे जो सपने हैं, वो सपने आपको दिए किसने? मैं जब कुछ मांगता हूं जिंदगी से तो उसके पीछे एक कल्पना होती है भविष्य की। मैं कहता हूं मुझे मेरा भविष्य इसी तरीके का चाहिए, इसलिए अब मुझे
Society on the larger scale, man. Society on the larger scale gave those values.
जिंदगी में ऐसे 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 कदम लेंगे ताकि मैं उस भविष्य तक पहुंच पाऊं। आपने अपने लिए भविष्य का जो मॉडल तैयार किया है, मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूं वो आपको किसने दिया है? वो आपका अपना नहीं है और मेरे पास एक प्रमाण है इसका। अगर आपका अपना होता तो एक एक सीट के पीछे 10-10 हजार लोग नहीं भाग रहे होते। ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है कि 10,000 लोग?
Okay, man. Like, I do have various disagreements with Acharya Prashant, but here he is nailing someone or something, which is a very important. Yes, the dream is not really, that much of a singular thing. Singular, individual to yourself, your own impulses. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. That kind of fucking things you wanna do are like very, very rare. Okay, I agree with here. I agree with Acharya Prashant here.
लोगों का एक ही कॉमन साझा सपना है, ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है? फिर इंडिविजुअलिटी का क्या मतलब हुआ? निश्चित रूप से अगर 10,000 लोग एक सीट के पीछे भाग रहे हैं तो इसका मतलब उनके मन में जो सपना है उनमें से किसी का भी नहीं है। वो एक इंपोर्टेड ड्रीम है, वो एक इंपोर्टेड कॉन्सेप्ट है, वो एक इम्प्लांटेड डिजायर है। आपके भीतर किसी ने एक डिजायर डाल दी। किसने डाल दी वो आप जानते ही हो। व्यवस्था ने डाल दी, परवरिश ने डाल दी, स्कूलिंग ने डाल दी, कोचिंग सेंटर्स ने डाल दी, मीडिया ने डाल दी। पूरा जिस तरीके का हमारा हमारा भोगवादी कल्चर है उसने ये सब बातें आपके मन में डाल दी। और आप सब कहते तो हो आप जेन ज़ी हो, आप कहते तो हो वी लाइक टू बी यूनिक इंडिविजुअल्स। आप सब यूनिक इंडिविजुअल्स हो तो सब
No, man, like Gen Z is the most slave type of generation. At least Indian Gen Zs, they think that they are very individual. No, no, you are not, man. Indian Gen Z is the most slave breed after I think, the pre-independence of India. It is the most slave breed that has come out. I think the best generation were definitely, pre-independent era. So many movements, so many fucking things happening. We like there was some kind of optimism, fucking like something will happen, man. Like better than this. Now we don't have any of. I at least don't have that kind of thing. The Gen Zs are also extremely stupid. For them, being political means something bad. Like, oh, this is not political. I'm apolitical. Bad. Like, you are not apolitical. There is no such thing as apolitical. And yeah, you are not that smart, man. Like, apolitical. No, you are not that smart.
सब एक ही लेन में क्यों दौड़ रहे हो? ये मेरा स्टूडेंट से सवाल है। आप बात समझ रहे हैं? देखिए जब तक हम समस्या की जड़ तक नहीं पहुंचेंगे तब तक ऐसी घटनाएं बार बार होती रहेंगी। हमें जो रूट कॉज है उसको भी एड्रेस करना पड़ेगा। मैं नहीं कह रहा हूं कि सिस्टम में जो
Okay, man. Like, I think I agree with Acharya Prashant here. I agree, this resignation or something like that is not enough. We have to go in the deeper roots and problems. With, this much importance given to the exam. There being no alternatives. Like, fuck up, man. Like, yeah. Even that kind of thing, alternatives, going in the fucking routes. and destroying the tree also. This fucking hierarchical tree. I don't know, man.
जो धांधली है, घोटाला है, उसके खिलाफ आंदोलन मत करो, जरूर करो, तुम्हें करना चाहिए। बाहर न्याय होना चाहिए, पर भीतर बोध भी होना चाहिए। बाहर न्याय के लिए आप लड़ाई लड़ रहे हैं, आप बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं, पर भीतर अगर बोध नहीं होगा तो बाहर आप कितने भी परिवर्तन ले आ लें, आप पाएंगे कि कुछ हिला नहीं है। चीजें वैसी पुरानी की पुरानी है, बस चीजों ने अपने नाम, रूप, रंग, आकार और कपड़े बदल लिए हैं, चीजें वैसी पुरानी ही रह गई हैं। देखिए, हम भारतीय हैं और भारत में संतों ने, ज्ञानियों ने न जाने कब से कहा हुआ है, माला फेर तुझको गया गया न मन का फेर, कर का मन का छाड़ दे, मन का फेर। मतलब क्या है इस बात का? उन्होंने कहा देखो, बाहर बाहर जो तुम रोटेशन कर रहे हो, ये जो बाहर बाहर फेर रहे हो तुम, ये बाहर बाहर फेरने से मामला बहुत दूर तक नहीं जाएगा। कर का मन का मतलब हाथ में जो चीजें तुम्हारे हाथ की, हमारे बाहर है, हमारे सिस्टम जो आप बदलना चाह रहे हो, सिस्टम आप बदल लो, सिस्टम अच्छे से अच्छा होना चाहिए निश्चित रूप से, लेकिन याद रखो कि सिस्टम बनाने वाले हम ही हैं। अगर हम भीतर से गड़बड़ लोग हैं और हमने बाहर एक अच्छा सिस्टम बना भी लिया, तो हम मालूम है क्या करेंगे? हम दिन में अच्छा सिस्टम बनाएंगे और रात में खुद ही अपने ही बनाए अच्छे सिस्टम के चोर दरवाजों से बाहर निकल जाएंगे, क्योंकि हम ही
Okay, I mean, I do agree with him. हमने ही सिस्टम बनाया है, लाइक हमने नहीं, लाइक मतलब लाइक हमने ही सिस्टम को बनाया और फिर सिस्टम ने भी हमें बनाया है, यू नो। और कौन पहले आया? आई थिंक हम, मतलब लोग ही पहले आए हो गए, यू नो, हंटर गैदरर से। तो लेकिन ऐसा नहीं कि सिस्टम हमें कभी छोड़ के चला भी गया था, तो हमेशा था भी। तो हाँ, ये एक तरह का एक मोमेंट ही है। फिर हम चीज़ें बनाते हैं और चीज़ें हमें इन्फ्लुएंस करती है, और फिर से हम वो चीज़ों को बनाते हैं, फिर से हमें वो चीज़ें इन्फ्लुएंस करती है। हाँ ठीक है, मतलब इसमें तो मुझे कोई इतनी ये नहीं है।
ने तो बनाया, हम बनाने वाले, हम तोड़ने वाले, हमारे भीतर से नहीं बदल रहे। तो फिर सिस्टमिक चेंज भी ला करके बहुत लाभ होना नहीं है। तो तीन बातें मेरी सोनम जी के लिए, कृपया अपनी जिंदगी को मूल्य दें, कृपया अपना अनशन तोड़ें। आपका जीवन भारत के लिए कीमती है, भारत की आप ज्यादा अच्छी सेवा कर पाएंगे जीवित रह करके। सरकार से मेरा आग्रह,
Man, I don't wanna, you know, I don't wanna see Sonam Wangchuk dying or something, but the moment is just generally, very weak, not having, clear policies. Yeah, it is very, very weak. The demands are very, very weak, man. Like resignation and all these things. Yeah, I don't wanna see Sonam Wangchuk dying or something. But like it's not like I want to fight for him either. I am not hyped for his demands. Yeah, like yeah, like what will happen if he dies? Oh man, I don't know. Maybe his death may be meaningful. Like there can be, big protest against BJP. Maybe, okay, I don't know, okay. If that happens, I will support his death. Yeah, I am very, very bad person, but I see his death to be more meaningful in this way than him living.
कृपया बातचीत करें। बातचीत तो सज्जनता की निशानी होती है, संवाद तो शील का द्योतक होता है। कृपया बातचीत करें।
I mean, बातचीत करिए क्या भाई? बीजेपी बातचीत नहीं करना चाहती, वो they don't talk.
और भारत से मेरा सवाल, आखिरी बात, भारत से मेरी कोई अपील नहीं, कोई आग्रह नहीं, भारत के लिए मेरे पास सवाल है। ऐसा कैसे हो जाता है कि जब भी कोई भी घटना घटती है तो हमें उसका बस बाहरी पक्ष ही दिखाई देता है, उस घटना की जड़, उस घटना का अंदरूनी कारण हमें कभी नहीं दिखाई देता। हम बहुत उत्सुक रहते हैं कि उंगली बाहर की ओर दिखाते हैं और कहते हैं वो जिम्मेदार है, वो जिम्मेदार है, वो जिम्मेदार है। और मैं बिल्कुल मान रहा हूं कि बाहर वाले भी जिम्मेदार होते हैं, पर जितनी जिम्मेदारी बाहर वाले की है, क्या हम ईमानदारी से मानना चाहेंगे कि उतनी ही जिम्मेदारी भीतर वाले की है?
ओके, लेकिन बाहर वाला और भीतर वाला कोई इतना डिफरेंस नहीं होता। जो बाहर वाला होता है वही अंदर वाला होता है।
भीतर वाले को अहंकार कहते हैं, और उसको उसको रास्ते पर लाने की जो विधि होती है उसको बोलते हैं आत्मज्ञान। हमें एजुकेशन चाहिए, पर सिर्फ वोकेशनल एजुकेशन नहीं, प्रोफेशनल एजुकेशन नहीं, हमें मास एजुकेशन ऑफ द सेल्फ चाहिए। और अगर हम उससे बचते रहेंगे तो इस तरीके के कांड बार बार होते रहेंगे, हमारे होनहारों की, हमारे बच्चों की।
मुझे नहीं लगता हमें मास एजुकेशन ऑफ सेल्फ चाहिए। ठीक है, we can, have that kind of education also, which really, opens us up to the world and the all the diverse opportunity it has and the diverse things we will create. I can, support that kind of thing. But the main thing is changing of the system. Just having, system where people can do many things without, worry or stress. That kind of system. Creating that kind of system and that kind of individuality also, then I, go towards that.
कि हमारे छात्रों की जाने जाती रहेंगी, कभी इस कारण से कभी उस कारण से। कारण बदलते रहेंगे तो हमें ऐसा लगेगा कि पिछले कारण का हमने उपचार कर दिया था, इस बार नया कारण है। नहीं, वो कारण नया नहीं होगा, वो पिछला ही कारण होगा जो नए रूप में आ गया होगा। तो बाहर आप न्याय पाने के लिए और व्यवस्था को बदलने के लिए जो कुछ भी कर रहे हैं, कृपया उसको करते रहें। अच्छी से अच्छी व्यवस्था का होना, न्याय संगत व्यवस्था का होना हर छात्र का, हर नागरिक का अधिकार है। आप उस अधिकार के लिए संघर्षरत हैं, बहुत अच्छी बात है, लेकिन इस प्रक्रिया में जो असली चीज है और ज्यादा गहरी बात है, उसको भूल मत जाइएगा।
हाँ, ज़्यादा गहरी बात है कि मेरे लिए तो कि जो नीट में ये जो ऑब्सेशन है नीट से और इस आईआईटी से, वो जाना चाहिए। वो ख़त्म होना चाहिए। दैट्स इट। यही गहरी बात है, इससे ज़्यादा कोई गहरी बात नहीं है। इसके जो लोग हैं, हम ज़्यादा चीज़ें कर सके, हम अलग तरह के करियर बना सके, हमारे पास ज़्यादा लाइफ में अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ हो। तो मैं उसको ज़्यादातर अब सपोर्ट करता हूँ, ना कि भीतर से कोई चेंज आना चाहिए। भीतर से क्या, बाहर चेंज आएगा तो भीतर भी अलग ही बन जाएगा। बाहर में और भीतर में उतना कोई अंतर नहीं है, दोनों ही एक ही चीज़ के ये है, मतलब एक ही चीज़ के दो पहलू है। भीतर और बाहर में जो डिज़ायर है एक इंसान का, वो डायरेक्टली सोशल फील्ड में इन्वेस्टेड है और उसी से वो इन्फ्लुएंस भी हो रहा है। तो बाहर और भीतर में कोई इतना बड़ा अंतर है ही नहीं, मतलब अंतर ही नहीं है, दोनों सेम ही चीज़ें हैं, बस डिफरेंट पोल्स है उसके।
वो गहरी बात यह है कि इंसान जब तक भीतर से बेईमान है, व्यवस्था ईमानदार नहीं हो सकती। आप भीतरी तौर पर बेईमान एक जनसंख्या के लिए एक बाहरी ईमानदार व्यवस्था खड़ी नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि व्यवस्था खड़ी भी की जा रही है अधिकांशतः बेईमान लोगों द्वारा। वो उस ईमानदार व्यवस्था को चलने ही नहीं देंगे, वो उस ईमानदार व्यवस्था में कहीं ना कहीं सुराख और दरार खोज निकालेंगे। हमारी व्यवस्था हम ही ने बनाई है, लोकतंत्र भाई। अगर हम भीतर से नहीं बदल रहे तो हमारी बनाई व्यवस्था कितनी ईमानदारी की हो सकती है? इतना ही कहूंगा। और मैं चाहूंगा कि ये जो घटना घट रही है, इसमें हम जितने अच्छे बाहरी बदलाव ला सकते हैं लाएं, और भीतर हमारे जो बैठा हुआ है, जो बाहरी बदलाव तो लाना चाहता है पर स्वयं को नहीं बदलना चाहता, हम उसको भी ईमानदारी।
बाहरी बदलाव और भीतरी बदलाव ये कोई यू नो बहुत दूर की चीज़ें नहीं है, एक ही चीज़ है और ये दोनों चीज़ें साइमल्टेनियसली होती है। तो हाँ तो मुझे तो ये समझ ही नहीं आता कि बाहरी और भीतरी का अंतर। जब बाहर बदलाव हो जाएगा तो अंदर भी बदलाव हो ही जाएगा और दोनों एक साथ ही होने वाले हैं। तो हाँ, मुझे तो ये समझ ही नहीं आता। आई मीन आई जनरली don't have similar, opinions as Acharya Prashant or takes. But the thing is that I think he Make some interesting points, man. Like even he makes some horrible points, but they are still interesting.
से देखें शायद ये दिखना ही पर्याप्त होगा उसको बदलने के लिए.
India was supposed to be communist. By every measure of Marxists, India had the perfect.
ओके ओके ओके. ऑटो प्ले बंद कर देता हूँ. कहाँ रे भाई ऑटो प्ले? कैसे चाल? ओके भाई, मैं और लंबा जा सकता हूँ, लेकिन हम देखने वाले हैं कल नीचाज वार्निंग द डेंजरस मिसयूज ऑफ डायलेक्टिक्स. तो देखते हैं भाई आचार्य प्रशांत नीचा के बारे में क्या कहते हैं. मुझे भी थोड़ा बहुत ज्ञान है नीचा का. और शायद हम ये भी देखेंगे एंटायर इंडियन इकोनॉमिक्स इन 80 मिनट्स. कल शायद ये दोनों वीडियो देखने वाला हूँ मैं. और शायद मैं कल एक नया रीडिंग का ये चालू करने वाला हूँ. नया रीडिंग, नए बुक की रीडिंग वो होने वाली है ओरिजिन ऑफ पीसीज बाय चार्ल्स डार्विन. तो देखते हैं भाई कल क्या होता है. अभी तो मैं और भी जा सकता हूँ, लेकिन बस भाई बस आज के लिए इतना ही काफ़ी है. लेकिन मैं फ्यूचर में और भी बड़ी स्ट्रीम करना चाहता हूँ, और लंबी स्ट्रीम करना चाहता हूँ. दिन भर भाई, दिन भर की स्ट्रीम. मेरे को कोई काम भी नहीं होता, मतलब ऐसे मेरा यही काम है, मतलब पढ़ाई करना, फिलोसफी करना, इकोनॉमी के बारे में जानना, और उन्हीं पे मैं अब वीडियो बनाऊंगा, फिलोसफी के बारे में वीडियो बनाऊंगा. आई एन्जॉय दिस शिट मैन, लाइक. तो मेरे लिए तो यही काम है भाई. आचार्य प्रशांत इज इंडियन फिलोसोफर. Yeah, it is like a study and more of a fun thing which I am gonna do regardless of I react it on live or on my own. So yeah, that's why I react to them on live, because hey, at least grow some community if it happens. Because I also get bored, man. Like doing it or everything alone. Not bored. I don't get bored. I feel lonely. Not bored, man. I genuinely enjoy philosophy and economics and everything that comes with it. I don't get bored, but I get lonely. Like, okay, man. Like, why no friend of mine is interested in philosophy, economics? No friend of mine. I have no one to talk to about these things. So maybe I will find people online who are interested in these things. That's it. Bye bye, guys. And yes, I will improve the stream quality, the camera quality, and I will, get better as I go, even in my English speaking, which I don't think it is good, but it is enough. Okay, I am not, like speaking gibberish. I think I'm speaking English, but it is not good enough. I will, try to better myself in the future. Bye bye.